video that explains everything else on this channel. I'm Naomi Hattaway, and I'm giving myself 1 year with something that I haven't had in a long time, a curriculum. Even more than that, it's a curriculum that actually has nothing to do with being productive, building a business, or proving anything to anyone. So it's going to be 12 topics, 1 year, and zero ROI required. This video is the why behind all of it, and it will serve as an introduction to each thread I'll be pulling on. I'm also writing a memoir, but I honestly have been getting tired of waiting until the memoir is finished to start sharing my life out loud and in real time. So, welcome to Personal Curriculum. I've spent most of my adult life being strategic and super useful to people. I've spent a lot of time building things that have a point. And this summer, I decided to do something that has really no point at all, at least not in the way that I've always measured point having. This series is all about my personal curriculum, and this video I'm recording at the beginning to tell you exactly what I think it means, why I'm doing it, and why I decided to stop waiting until I've finished something before sharing it. I don't know what this is going to look like at the end, but I am committed and dedicated to sharing it all along the way. So, who am I? That's a good question. My name is Naomi Hattaway, and on the work side, I provide interim leadership and succession planning for nonprofits. That work is called Leaving Well. It will not be the focus of this channel, but it has shaped how I think about exits and transitions and honestly what it means to do something well on your way out the door, which in this case is kind of eventually my own life. I turned 50 this summer in 2026, and I'm staring down the last half of my life at this moment. I've lived overseas. I've raised 3 kids across countries and cultures. I've run for office. I didn't win. I've built businesses and I've thrifted my way through 4 decades. And now I live in the woods. I'm also someone who got pregnant at 18, walked away from faith after the church kicked me out. I married a man who had been married 3 times before. I got sober, and I've been quietly writing that memoir for longer than I'd like to admit. That last part is really what this channel is about. When I think about that living life out loud and in real time, this is my idea. Here's the thing about memoirs also, they require that you believe that your life has already happened in a way that's worth documenting. And so I started documenting and I kept waiting for that feeling. I kept waiting until I'd put enough in the book until I was resolved or until the arc felt super clear. But until I could look back instead of sideways, I realized that I'm actually a person who learns by doing. And I think I've been using the memoir, honestly, as an excuse to keep my stories hidden and private until they were perfect or they had a perfect closing and ending, until I had extracted the lesson, until I could hand you something tidy. But here's the thing, life is not tidy always. Life is messy. And so this channel is my experiment to answer that. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to write the memoir out loud in real time with all of the mess still in it. Some of it will be uncomfortable and some of it won't end up resolved by the end of each video or each project. And maybe that's also kind of the point. To me, memoir in real time means that I'm not just going to hand you a conclusion. I'm going to invite you into the middle, into the mess and into the muck. So why do I call this a personal curriculum? That's another good question. I called this a curriculum as a mirror of Jessica Lindsay's series. On IG, you can find her at it's Jessica Lindsay, and Lindsay is spelled Lindsay. The word curriculum does something for me that calling it a project or calling it a challenge doesn't quite get at. To me, a curriculum implies that learning is the whole point, not the outcome or the deliverable. So here's some of the reasons why I want to do this personal curriculum project. Number one, I want a space for my brain that's not strategic. I'm really good at strategy and I do it for a living, but I realized that I didn't have any space in my life where my brain got to just wander and just learn. So this is that space. Number two, I wanted permission to be a beginner. Several of the topics that I'll share in just a moment are things that I genuinely don't know how to do yet. Some of them I do, but for the most part, they're brand new to me. I'm learning to make jewelry. I'm building trails on our land. I'm purchasing secondhand cookbooks and learning how to feed myself through the journey of exploration in the kitchen and without having kids to cook for. I don't know always what I'm doing, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to try and show you the whole thing. The other thing is I'm not a talented content creator or editor, and we're just going to have to figure it out along the way as well. Number three, I'm looking for learning that doesn't have an ROI. Everything in my professional life has a return on investment attached to it. It's super appropriate in my business life, and it's how organizations survive. But I needed a corner of my life where the learning didn't have to justify itself, where I could study something just because it interests me, full stop. So that is number three. Number four is that I want to really think about reclaiming learning as pleasure. At some point, and I think this happens to a lot of this, learning becomes something that you do to stay competitive, to stay current, or to not fall behind. And I want to remember what it feels like to learn just because it's genuinely pleasurable. And so that's what I'm kicking off this project for. I do still have moments in my past where I've learned, but I want to do it with the structure and intentionality. So, five are practices that make me feel alive. I wanted to feel more alive and not productive, not optimized. I just wanted to feel alive and excited. So, these 12 topics are my attempt at that. So, drum roll, please. Here are the 12 topics, not in any order. I don't know yet which one I'll start with, but style and fashion. I have a full closet and I would say nothing to wear, but it's more that I don't know how to use it all. I've been thrifting for 30 years and I'm finally going to start asking why and what the thrifting's actually about. I have a feeling this one starts with a poverty story. I also want to explore ancestry. I have some deep questions about where I come from that I've been avoiding. And this year, I'm going to stop avoiding them and really make time for the exploration and the unearthing and the digging. A third topic is exit strategy for the business. I have spent my career helping other people leave well, so it's time to start thinking about what that might look like for my own work. This is the one crossover episode with leaving well. I won't normally talk about my work here, but when we have that project piece, I'll talk a little bit about it. The next one is mending and sewing. I want to learn how to fix things instead of replacing them. I want to learn how to pull things from the thrift store that need a little mending and I can bring them home and do this. I have a feeling this one's going to be more than about just clothes though. Another one is finances and mortgage payoff. So I'm going to talk about money, real numbers, real decisions, the real reality of building a house when my husband is nearing retirement, and my real history with scarcity. This one does connect directly back to my poverty story and where I want to be, and also how I want to raise our kids. Jewelry, collection, curation, and making. My earrings are always a signature piece. My collection is a beautiful archive. And so in this year, I want to learn how to make my own jewelry for the first time ever. We're also going to study trail building and land sovereignty. We have 17 acres of land and I want to steward it well. I want to learn how to live alongside the wildlife and I want to build trails on it with my own hands. I have no idea really what I'm doing, but I'm starting anyway and I'm excited to share all of that with you. Another one is travel and immersion. Travel has always been a classroom for me, including when we lived overseas in New Delhi and India. And during this project, I want to be more intentional about what I'm trying to learn when I go somewhere, not just where I'm going. It's something that I love doing when I work for business or with the family, and I'm excited to dig into this. The next topic is reading and the library. I am reclaiming the library and reading as a practice, not for work, not for something that I need to turn into a case study, and also not specifically about buying or library rentals, but more about the exploration of the library as a system and my own personal library, which you can see behind me. I will be sharing along the way what I'm reading, why, annotating, and all those things. Now, cookbooks and cooking is kind of similar, but a little different. So I spent an entire day, well, 5 hours, at a vintage bookstore in Atlanta, and I came home with literally an entire box of books to display in my new kitchen. I wanted it to be aesthetic and beautiful, and then I realized, oh, I could actually learn how to cook from these. So I want to slow myself down in the kitchen, learn more about food and cooking, and learn what's possible. As we start to round out our topics, the next one is home clean out and purge. So we are planning to stay in this house for a long time, which means that everything needs to actually earn its place for it to be able to stay. So this will be the episode series for people who want to stay somewhere intentionally or plan their life in their home intentionally and not just accumulate. Okay, and then the last topic is health optimization. I'm going to talk candidly about my early menopause, about my use of GLP-1, my continued healing from a complex tibia fibula fracture, how I eat, how I move, and what I've learned about my body in the last few years. That won't be like a wellness influencer. I'm not going to try and sell you anything. I just want to share what I'm learning along the way and learn from you as well. So I have an invitation for you. Each of these topics is going to get its own playlist or a season, if you will. Each playlist might have 8 to 10 episodes. I'm going to publish as I go and not when it's done and not when it's polished and not when I have the lesson extracted and ready to hand to you. So some episodes will be me in the middle of something and some episodes will be at the end of it. I also don't know how many episodes will be in each season, but that will be fun. Some of the episodes might be me looking back to just what happened last week. Some might be looking and projecting forward in the future, but I can promise you that all of them will be honest. There's going to be a closeout episode at the end of each playlist where I answer 6 questions. 1, what worked? 2, what surprised me? 3, what I've actually integrated? 4, what didn't happen? 5, what fell away? And 6, what seasonal observations emerged? I'm going to be building that reflection practice in public too, right here on this YouTube channel. If you are someone who's been waiting to start something until you knew how it would end, this channel is for you, and it's for me along the way as well. If you're someone who has been meaning to write your own memoir and keeps not starting, maybe this channel is also for you. If you're just nosy about how someone else lives their life, I'm honestly okay with you coming along for the ride for that too. I don't mind. So before I go, I just want to say thank you for watching along. And I also want to say something to the person watching this. If you're already thinking, I want to do this too, you don't have to have 12 topics. You also don't need a YouTube channel and you don't need to dedicate an entire year to it. Maybe you could just pick 3 things. That's it. You could start from there. The thing that you come up with, 3 things that you come up with, are maybe should be things that have been living on your Sunday list, not because they'll make you more productive, not because they'll just look good on your resume, but because it's something that you keep returning to. It might be things that you keep thinking, one of these days I'll do them, or maybe it's something that you're like, I just really want to learn about this. Pick those things for your curriculum. The only filter I would suggest is if you're going to pick 3 things, at least one of them should be something you genuinely don't know how to do yet. At least one of them should be something that you already love, but you have stopped making time for, or something that you want to or need to learn a little bit more about. And at least one of them should be something that scares you just slightly, not in a dramatic way, but just in the way that tells you it really matters. So whether you are going to do this publicly or privately, you don't have to document it. You don't have to tell anyone, but I would encourage you to write down what you're trying to learn and also write down why it matters to you right now and maybe what you'd like to be able to say about it at the end of the season. Those 6 reflection questions that I mentioned, the what worked, what surprised me, what's now integrated, what didn't happen, what fell away, and what seasonal observations emerged, those could work for you to ask as reflection questions, whether you've picked 12 topics or whether you have picked just 2 topics. And again, whether you're doing this publicly or entirely privately, a curriculum doesn't require a classroom. It just requires a commitment to your own learning as something that is valuable and worth protecting. If you do start one or you plan to and want to brainstorm the topics, I would genuinely would really love to know. Tell me in the comments what you picked and why. I'm Naomi Hattaway, and welcome again to the project called Personal Curriculum. The tagline is writing my memoir out loud and in real time. Subscribe to follow along and come back when you're ready. And again, if something I say in any of these episodes makes you think about your own life differently, tell me. That's truly the only ROI besides my own pleasure, joy, and learning that I'm interested in. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode.